Hello, my name is Vernon. I'm a San Diego County family and divorce attorney. Today I'm going to talk about one of the more difficult subjects that comes up in family law, domestic violence. First of all, if you're experiencing acts of domestic violence from your significant other, you need to call 911 and contact the police immediately. That being said, there is a process that needs to be followed if you want to seek relief from this domestic violence. There are certain forms that you have to file with the family court here in San Diego County to seek a domestic violence restraining order against your spouse or significant other. One of the biggest things that I see in my practice that turns out to be a problem is that oftentimes, and rightfully so, when you're experiencing acts of domestic violence, you don't properly document them. The first step, again, is to always call the police. Why is that important? That's important because having a record, and especially if your spouse or significant other is arrested, that is very compelling evidence to use in a family court proceeding. Secondly, if your spouse is threatening you by leaving voicemail messages or threatening you through text messages or emails, the second thing that you need to do as soon as possible is back up those voicemails, text messages, and emails on a secondary source. Whether you print them out and keep them in a safe place or put them on a hard drive. Again, I cannot stress the importance of preserving this evidence. Oftentimes people will come to me in my practice and I'm not able to help them the way that I could have had they been able to preserve that evidence. So please keep that in mind. So what can constitute acts of domestic violence? Well, for the purposes of a family court restraining order, the basics would be if your spouse is striking you, physically injuring you, that of course can constitute an act of domestic violence. But another thing that can constitute domestic violence is mere harassment. If you've split up with your spouse or significant other and they are constantly sending you messages, it can be just sending you messages, text messages, voicemails, emails, you need to make it clear to them, number one, send one back. Be professional, but say, I do not wish for you to contact me anymore. Please leave me alone. That is an important piece of evidence that a family law attorney like myself could use to assist you in a domestic violence restraining order proceeding, because that will make it abundantly clear to the judge that you do not want your spouse or significant other to be contacting you. So again, if your spouse or significant other happens to be continually showing up at places where you're at, and you don't want them to be there, you also need to, again, call the police and report this. Get a police report. But again, that is something that can be used to obtain a domestic violence restraining order against your spouse or significant other, even if they're not actively physically harming you. If you want to learn more about the domestic violence restraining order process, please give me a call at 619-452-9377 or go to my website, www.leevernonevents.com, to learn more about the free monthly seminars I hold right here in San Diego.